Welcome back to Computer Organization course. Today we will study the last topic of first module, encoding of machine instruction. So here we will discuss how a computer or processor convert assembly language instructions into binary in order to store in the memory. What is instruction encoding? So instruction encoding is nothing but whatever the instructions we write in assembly language has to be converted into binary data in order to store in the memory, because memory can store only binary information, and the instructions we write in assembly language will be in English. For example, there is an instruction add R0 R1. The word add or addition is actually an English word which has meaning for a programmer, but processor do not understand the meaning of ADD. So there is a necessity of converting entire instruction into a binary format, which helps in storing that binary data in the memory, as well as processor can decode it and understand what exactly that operation is and where that operation has to be performed. So here, when an instruction is encoded into binary, the number of bits that instruction occupies in binary data is called size of the instruction. For example, when I converted add R0 R1 into a binary, it has occupied 32 bit of binary data. So the size of this instruction is 32 bit or 4 bytes. What is the mechanism to convert an assembly language instruction into binary values? It depends on various processor. Here for example, I have an instruction add. I am trying to add R0 register value to a value present in a memory whose address is 1254H. So in this instruction, when I encode it, it is necessary to convert or encode entire instruction and not only the operation name, that is ADD add. That means if we encode the entire instruction, that includes the operation name, what are the operands I have used, and what are the values of those operands, also what kind of addressing information is required. So if we encode all these details, then when processor decodes this instruction from the memory, processor must be able to understand which operation you are intended to do on which operands and what are the values of those operands. For example, if I encode this entire add instruction and store it in the memory, when processor fetch that encoded instruction from the memory and try to execute, processor must be able to identify you intended to do an addition operation on content of register 0 with content of a memory whose address is 1254H. Otherwise processor cannot execute that instruction. So it is very important to encode all the details of the instruction in binary format. So whenever a complete instruction is encoded into binary, major informations that has to be encoded are the operation which is mentioned in the instruction, the addressing information, and the operands and their values. So all these details must be included in the encoded format of an instruction, so that processor when decodes it understand what is the meaning of that instruction. And in previous slide I explained what is the size of the instruction. When an assembly language instruction is converted into binary data, the number of bits it occupies is called size of the instruction. So in previous example, my add instruction was 4 byte in length. The size of the add instruction was 4 byte. Here when the size of instruction is actually depends on the details we include in the encoded format. We will discuss about the size of the instruction in the later part of the session. Now let us see few information that must be included while encoding an instruction from assembly language instruction into binary format. So one important thing is the opcode. So first details that must be encoded is opcode of the instruction. So what is opcode? Opcode is operational code. That means, for example, in this instruction, addition is the operation. Now we will have many instructions, and all the instruction operations are written using the English language. Like for addition we write add, for transfer of data we write move, or for subtraction we write sub, that is subtraction. This is to make programming easy for a programmer. But processor do not understand these English language words. So when converting these English language words into a binary, we need a particular protocol. So how to convert add or subtract or move any the operation name that is in English into a binary number? For that purpose, in every processor, the every operation that can be carried out by the processor is assigned with a unique number. That number is called operational code. So if I want to encode an addition instruction, I will simply find out the unique code assigned by the processor to that instruction or operation add, and use that unique number to convert it into binary. Other than opcode or the operational code of any operation mentioned in the instruction, there are two more details that must be encoded while converting an assembly language instruction into binary data. So these are nothing but the details of addressing information as well as the operands. So what is the addressing information? I have given an example here using add instruction. Here you can see the first operand used is a register. I have directly used register so that I can add content of the register. Then the destination I have mentioned using a addressing mode, that is direct addressing. I have mentioned offset of the memory address directly in the instruction. So it is important to encode these two details. The details which later when decoding informs the processor that source is a register as well as the destination is a direct addressing. So these two addressing information, what kind of addressing we have used in the instruction, that detail must be stored. And another information that must be there in the encoded instruction is the operands. So here if I store one information, addressing information, that source is a register, that and destination is a direct addressing, it is not enough. When I inform source is a register, I should also include which particular register I have used. Similarly, when I encode details like destination is a direct addressing, I should also store the actual offset mentioned in the instruction, that is 1254H. So along with which type of addressing I have used, I must also store the operand details. So if the register addressing is used, I should store what kind of which register is used. If a memory address is mentioned, what is the address, actual address of the offset, that information is also must be stored in the encoded instruction. Now there are basically we can divide entire addressing modes, different addressing modes are into three categories. So one where we use registers. So when I use addressing information as register used as a source, then I must store which register I have used. Now register names are again allocated using English words like R0. So R0, R is an English character. In some register, processor registers are named as AX, BX. These all are English words. So how do you store or convert a register name which has English alphabets into a binary data? For that purpose, every register is also allocated a unique number. If a particular register is used in the instruction, the what unique number is allocated to that register, that number is used to convert that register information into binary. Then another addressing mode, possible addressing mode is immediate addressing mode, where again we directly inform or mention the value needed by the instruction in the instruction itself. So we do not store it in register or we do not make any memory references, and immediately the directly value has been mentioned. In that case, we have to store which immediate value is given in the instruction. That entire immediate value has to be stored in the encoded instruction. And another other type of addressing mode are nothing but addressing modes which actually refer the memory. In these kind of addressing modes, various way we mention the address of the data. So those values, the memory offset values, for example here 1254H, these values should also be stored in the encoded data. Along with which kind of addressing modes we have referred for source and destination, the actual operands details must be stored in the encoded data. In one of the previous slide, we discussed what is the size of the instruction. When an assembly language instruction is converted into binary data, the size of that binary data is called size of the instruction. So the instruction may occupy 1 byte, 2 byte, 3 byte, 4 byte size. Now the size of the instruction actually depends on few factors. Basically on the type of the operation. We know that every operation has a opcode or operational code. So even though most of the processor try to manage a single size of operation code for every operation, for example 1 byte. So every operational code must be 1 byte. But few processor where operational code for different operation vary. The size of the operation code for different operation varies. So type of the operation matters, and as well as number of operands, because we have to store details of operands and which kind of addressing mode we have used. So based on the number of operands, the size of the instruction during encoding varies. And the major factor here is based on the size of the operands. Suppose if I use the R0 register in source, storing which register I have used is one detail I require. And what is the size of R0 I am using? Suppose I am mentioning a immediate value 10H. And in one more register instruction, if I mention another immediate value 1234H. Now 10H is only 1 byte and 1234H is 2 byte. So size of the operand I am using. Suppose R0 may be considered as a 8-bit register, or sometimes it might be considered as a 16-bit register. So size of the operand is a major factor to decide size of the instruction. Now let us see some general formats of encoded instruction. Here one format is here, that is one word instruction. That means here we are considering one word as 32-bit. So one instruction when converted into binary format or encoded, that instruction consumes together 32 bits of the memory. And here the format is just like this. First 8 bits are operation codes. Operation code is nothing but a unique number is assigned for every operation in the instruction. For example, I am here using add operation. So add will have a unique number assigned. That 8-bit number is stored in the first 8 bits of the encoded format. Now next 7 bits indicates that source operand is a register. Next 7 bits indicates that the destination operand is a direct addressing mode. And remaining 10 bits are used to mention which register we have used and what is the value of offset mentioned in the direct addressing. So this is a one example, one format of encoding. So one more format here is two word. So here first 32-bit and again 32-bit. Totally 64 bits are used in this instruction. So when instruction is finally converted from assembly language to binary, it consumes 64 bits. Again 8 bits for mentioning the which operation is there inside the instruction. Then again 7 bits for source operand, what kind of addressing we have used for source, then what kind of addressing we have used for destination, then some other information here as I explained in previous slide. Then if the whatever the addressing offset is used, we use 32-bit separate space to store the addresses mentioned in either source or destination, or if there is an immediate operand, that operand value will be stored in a 32-bit separate space. So altogether this instruction now becomes 64-bit. So whether the instruction after converting into binary should consume 64-bit or 32-bit, it depends on the computer architecture. Okay, while designing the processor, it will be decided which kind of information instruction should be converted into 32-bit or which kind of instruction should be converted into 64-bit. Here one more format of encoding is in this example, 3 operand instructions. So this time we have to store opcode, which operation has to be done, and details of all 3 operands. Suppose if I used register, we know that there instruction may have 1 operand, 2 operands, 3 operands, or no operands at all. So here what if there is a 3 operand instruction? Source, so 2 source instruction operands, 1 destination operand. For example, adding, I'll add R0, R1 and store it in R2. So this kind of instruction is supported by some processor. So that time we have to store details of all 3 operations and operand values. Now out of these 3 examples, which processor exactly follows which kind of format? See, every processor will follow different format for different instructions. Other than a RISC machine, all other processors will have different combination of formats for encoding based on the instruction type and addressing modes we have used in the instruction. There is no fixed format for every instruction. Now the important question about all this encoding process. Who exactly handles encoding in the processor? The actual assembler is responsible for encoding assembly language instruction and convert it into binary. So when you write a program in assembly language, you will be using different instructions in the assembly language, and you will pass that assembly language program to the assembler. Now assembler converts every instruction you have written in the assembly language program and convert it into the binary equivalent, or we call it as encoding. So you will have a separate file here, that is output of assembler, which is a executable code. What is executable code? See, processor do not understand the program you have written in assembly language, but after passing that program to assembler, it converts that program into binary. But processor understands binary, so processor can execute that. Means processor can decode it, understand it, and execute your program. So that's why it is called executable. So binary codes are nothing but executable codes. In between assembler, after assembler, there are few more processes that has to be done, which is not discussed in the syllabus. So we consider the assembler is the responsible for encoding every assembly instruction into binary encoded data. Now let us see RISC and CISC machines in the perspective of encoding. So we know that every processor, either it will be a RISC machine or a CISC machine. That means reduced instruction set computers or complex instruction set computers. So name itself indicates that complex instruction set computers are the processors which supports a lot of instructions which do not have a first of all, there will be huge number of instructions supported by that can be supported by that processor. Again, it will have very complicated addressing modes, and as well as the instruction size when converted into binary, different instructions takes different size. So here when there is a complex instruction set computer, encoding every instruction into binary data is very complex. Now let us see what is actually RISC machine. See, RISC machine means reduced instruction set computers, where the entire processor which will support only few number of instructions like 100, 150 or 200 instructions, and all instructions are very small instructions. Means when you convert it into a binary or when you encode it, it consumes less space. For example, 32-bit, not more than 32-bit. Then it will have RISC, reduced instruction set computers will have very simple and less number of addressing modes, so that the information about addressing mode can easily converted into binary in encoding. And also every instruction in reduced instruction set computer will have same size. For example, ARM processor, which is a RISC machine, where every instruction is 32-bit. That means encoding format is very simple and same for all the instruction. So every instruction, when you have to convert it into a 32-bit binary data, so encoding format is same and very simple. So RISC machine in the perspective of encoding the instructions, RISC machines are very easy. So we can easily design encoding format for RISC machine instructions. Complex instruction set, in other words, is completely opposite, having all these properties. Then it is very difficult to draw a single encoding format for complex instruction set computers. So this is all about encoding of machine instructions. So what is the necessity of encoding an instruction, who encodes it, and whatever the details we must include in the encoding during encoding of an instruction from assembly language to binary. And we studied RISC and CISC machines, how exactly they matters in encoding. So this is all about encoding of machine instruction. Thank you.